Welcome to the last session of the module 2 fluid power system, that is pumps and actuators. Now let's go for the chapter 2 called actuators here. The pumps perform the function of adding energy to the hydraulic system for transmission to the some point or remote points. The fluid actuators just do the opposite of the pump, that is, they extract the energy from the fluid and convert into a mechanical output to perform the useful work. Hydraulic or pneumatic system both utilizes the actuators, that is hydraulic actuators and pneumatic actuators. Generally the hydraulic or pneumatic system concerned with moving, gripping or applying force to an object. Devices which actually achieve this purpose are called actuators. That is, actuators are installed to drive the load by converting the hydraulic power into mechanical power. That is, in other words, the actuators, pumps are the devices which converts potential energy or pressure energy into mechanical energy, whereas that is hydraulic energy. Pumps converts pressure energy into hydraulic energy, and then actuators converts hydraulic energy into mechanical energy, mechanical power. The actuators are classified into different groups, that is two types: linear actuators and rotary actuators. As I told in the previous cases, that is linear actuators, and that is the difference between linear and rotary. So flow of fluid is parallel to the axis of the cylinders, then we call it as linear actuators. Here it is in rotary actuators, it is perpendicular. That is hydraulic cylinders. That is, hydraulic cylinders converts the hydraulic power into mechanical power. Performing rectilinear motion, cylinders are linear actuators that can push and pull, and when mounted around a joint can actuate rotary motion. The pressure of input oil is converted into the force acting on the piston. Figure shows the construction of hydraulic cylinders. It consists of a cylinder cap, barrel, piston seal, piston rod, cylinder head, rod seal, and cylinder ports. There are two types of cylinders: single acting cylinder and double acting cylinder. So in single acting cylinder can exert a force in only the extending direction, as fluid from the pump enters the blanket or to the cylinder. That is, when the piston moves from cap end to rod end, and the inlet port will be open and fluid enters into the cylinder. And when that is called extension. When for the retraction, the spring or gravity force is used in the single acting cylinder. In the double acting cylinder, both extension and retraction will be taking place with the help of the pressurized fluid. That is, some of the parts of the double acting cylinder you can observe, that is extended port, base cap or cap end, we call it as barrel or nothing but cylinder, piston, weld and seal joints you can observe. This is what bearing cap, bearing, shaft, wiper seal rod, then retracted port. This is what rod seal, this is end seal. This is what the cap end, this is what rod end. Okay. When the piston moves from cap end to rod end and rod end to cap end, so extension, when the piston moves from cap end to rod end, extension will be taking place. When the piston moves from rod end to cap end, retraction will be taking place. Initially the piston will be in the retracting mode. The main function of the double acting cylinders, main parts, that is as I have explained. Here the pressurized oil or air enters the cylinder chamber through the ports provided, that is inlet port and the outlet port. Okay. So working principle as I have explained. Mounting arrangements, that is cylinder mounting is determined by the application. Two basic types of mountings, that is clamp of, you can observe from the figure, clamp of figure requires simple fixed mounting. The pusher of figure, that is requires a cylinder mount that can pivot. Cylinder cautioning. The extension and retraction speeds of the hydraulic cylinders are managed by controlling the inlet or outlet flow rates. When reaching its end position, the piston is suddenly stopped in case of high speed and great inertia. The sudden stopping of the piston results in severe impact force which affects both the cylinder and the driven mechanism. Therefore, a cautioning arrangement might be necessary to produce the piston speed to a limiting value before piston reaches its end position. Cautioning may be applied at either end or both ends. They operate on the principle that the cylinder piston approaches the end of stroke. The exhaust fluid is forced to go through an adjustable needle that is set to the control that escaping fluid at a given rate, which allows the deceleration characteristics to be adjusted for the different loads. When the cylinder piston is actuated, the fluid enters the cylinder port and flows through the little check valve so that the entire piston area can be utilized to produce force and motion. Next topic is motors, that is hydraulic motors, which is just opposite to that of the pumps. The main function of the hydraulic motor is to reverse of that of the pump, as I told. Hydraulic motors are the devices which converts fluid power into the rotary power, thereby which converts fluid pressure into the torque. They perform continuous rotary motion. The displacement of the hydraulic motor is the volume of the oil needed so that it rotates the motor shaft by one complete revolution. The motor speed depends on the flow rate. When it comes to classification, there are three types of motors. One is gear motors, vane motors, piston motors. Piston motors again are of two types: axial piston motor, radial piston motor. The gear motors are very similar in design to the gear pump. I have already discussed in the first session. But the motors are usually designed to have a case drain port and a reverse direction of rotation. This is what gear motor. This is of two types, that is external gear motor and internal gear motor, as it is similar to that of the external gear pump and internal gear pump. When it comes to working principle of gear motor, one of the gear is keyed to an output shaft, while the other one is simply idler. That is, pressurized oil is sent to the inlet port of the motor, whereas pressure then applied to the gear teeth, causing the gears and output shaft to rotate. So the pressure fluid until enough torque is generated to rotate the output shaft against the load. The side load of the motor bearing is quite high because of its hydraulic pressure, so that is at one side. This limits the bearing life of the motor. Vane motor, you can observe, similar to that of the vane pump. Vane pump is again here instead similar to that of the gear pump, except here vanes are used, that is rectangular vanes are used here. So again it is of balanced vane motor and unbalanced vane motor. You can observe here. This is what balanced vane motor. This is what unbalanced vane motor. Thank you.